Hey Bass Fanatics, welcome back to Fish Den 365. I'm Den Haring, and today we're going to do a review of the 5-inch Biffle bug. So this is specific size Biffle bug here, 5 inches. I'm going to share with you some different ways to fish this bait. It's very versatile. And if you haven't watched it yet, my most popular video is called How to Fish the Larew Biffle Bug. I'll put a link above so that you can watch that video. So here's the Larew Biffle Bug. This is the 5-inch size now, so this is the biggest size that they make. And again, just like the 425 and the smaller 3-5-inch, this is a good bait. One of the ways I like to fish this is to take a knife or a scissors and cut these side legs off. Just cut each one off right against, just cut each one off right against the body. There we go. And so now what that gives me is a very bait fish looking profile when you look at it this way. Not flat, but this way. And then I like to take a drop shot setup. I got my drop shot rod right here. By the way, my next video will be specifically about drop shotting, so stay tuned to that because I'm going to go into equipment. We're going to get into a lot of the basics and some of the more in-depth drop shotting techniques. So that'll be my next video. But when I do throw a drop shot, I usually try and get away with the lightest weight possible. You can see this is quite a small weight. But if there's not a lot of wind, I'll throw this out in 15, 16 feet of water. And this is a really good bait for both largemouth and smallmouth, especially big fish. Especially if the water has a little bit of stain to it. You want a little bit of this bigger size bait. So what I'll do is I will take the hook and I'll come in here to this second ridge and just push it in. And I like to push it right out the nose of the bait. Right like that. So now the way that fishes is like this. The weight, you can see the weight swinging here is down below. The line is up above. You can see the hook. And then the bait can dance very enticingly, especially with this tail below that weight. And if you let some slack in, it'll just slowly sink down, and then you can lift it back up and work it that way. Remember, the Biffle bug is hollow too, so you can put some rattles in there, and you can get a rattling effect. You can call the fish in that way with a little bit of sound. One of the things I like to do is take a bottle of chartreuse dye and just dip the tip of the tail in the chartreuse dye. Now, I didn't bring my bottle, so I have a chartreuse dye. This is made by Spike It, a little marker. So I'll show you what that looks like. Now, you might not be able to tell in this type of lighting, but in the sunlight, that ends up glowing. So I'm just going to put a little chartreuse dye on the very tip of the tail here. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. If it was a sunny day, you'd definitely be able to see it. So I just dyed the tail slightly. See how that is brighter? It's got that glow effect. And so why do I do that? Well, people who know smallmouths, for example, know that smallmouths really go crazy over chartreuse sometimes. So it's nice to just have that a little bit of chartreuse color in the bait for smallmouths. But there's another reason, more important reason why I do it. A lot of times the forage fish, both crayfish and bait fish, oftentimes their fins and tails will have a brighter color, a little bit of, oftentimes it's like aqua or chartreuse or something, and it has like a glow effect. If you ever look at bluegills swimming in the water, oftentimes you'll see that in their tail. And so this is just a way to imitate the forage and make it look a little more real out there when we're fishing our drop shot. So try this if you haven't tried it yet. This is a great drop shot bait. Got a lot of action. That tail has a lot of action. The bass like it. I caught both smallmouth and largemouth on it. This is a big size, so it focuses on some bigger fish, which I really like. And so it's just a great way to catch some fish, both deep and shallow. And of course, there's the standard way to fish the drop shot. So that's with a swinging jig head, or the Biffle hard head, this is called. There's a bunch of these on the market today. All it is a football head swinging jig. So it's a football head attached to an extra wide gap hook, and it swings freely back and forth. You can see that I can swing that back and forth. And I can Texas rig this, can bury that hook. So now I could throw this where I might not be able to throw a crankbait. I chuck this out there where a crankbait would hang up, and I could reel this thing along the bottom, and this hard head is bouncing very hard on the rocks on the bottom. Usually I like to throw this on a rocky bottom. And because you got the 5-inch size here, you're keying in on bigger fish. So anywhere where you would throw a crankbait, especially in a lot of rock or chunk rock, this thing really excels. You can just throw it out there. The deeper the water, the heavier the head you want, because you want to get it down there and you want to keep it on the bottom. So this one here is probably a 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce, I'm not even sure, but you can see that you can experiment on your own. Throw it out there. Basically, you want that bait to stay on the bottom. So you throw it out, you let it go to the bottom, and then you could just reel it in and tick the bottom of the rock. Just tick the tops of those rocks, and this thing is just going back and forth, and the tails are kicking. Again, oftentimes I'll dip the tail and just the little part of these legs in chartreuse dye, just to give a little bit of attraction, just so that the fish can notice that a little bit more, and sometimes that'll trigger more strikes. This is a good crayfish color here. It's called green pumpkin neon. So it's got the green pumpkin on the back, and then on the belly you got that pumpkin neon. Really great imitation of a crayfish. A lot of crawfish are that color in the systems around here where I fish. So 2 great ways to fish the biffle bug. The 5-inch biffle bug, which is a bigger size, bigger profile. You're keying in on bigger fish. If you got something out of this video, hit the like button. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Share with your friends. Make sure you comment with any questions or any of your experiences with these baits. We're certified Bassified, and may God bless your fishing endeavors. See you on the water.